Welcome into this WTOL 11 Weather Hangout. It is so great to have you along, whether you're watching on YouTube or on our streaming services. We appreciate you being with us as we preview what is going to be a taste of winter that is ahead. We've got most of the team gathered here. We'll introduce you to meteorologist Kaylee Bowers, and she is joining us now for her first Weather Hangout. Meteorologist Matt Willoughby and meteorologist John Birchfield. And guys, well, we got lots to talk about here. It hasn't been much of a winter season, and a storm coming up here that may be disappointing for many that have been hoping or wishing for snow. But Kaylee, I can tell you, it is certainly going to be delivering on the winds, isn't it?
Oh, it's going to be a very windy few days ahead. We're talking wind gusts around 55 miles an hour. So now's the time. Bring in those loose outdoor objects or find ways to secure them outside.
We call that wind that makes your face hurt as it comes into the area.
Yes.
So, more on that in a bit. Meteorologist Matt Willoughby, we're going to be talking about the bitter cold. And I think people really need to be aware of this because some of the coldest weather of the season is getting ready to crush the area, and it is going to be very apparent next week.
Yeah, it surely is. We haven't seen cold weather like this for about a year, honestly. Of course, remember back closer to Christmas in 2022 where we saw negative wind chills. But yeah, definitely going to be a cold week ahead. And of course, we'll be breaking that down coming up in just a bit.
And John Birchfield, we're also going to be talking these massive temperature swings that we've seen. This has really been a mild winter season. So people that have been waiting for winter to show up, this is going to be their calling.
Yeah, we've been spoiled so far. It's just such a remarkable contrast with a December that was the warmest on record and followed by some extremely cold temperatures. Quite the swing from temperatures in the 60s in December now to some sub-zero thermometer readings. So for those who have not really been accustomed to wintry weather, it's been a while. It's going to be a bit of a wake-up call with this forecast.
All right, so a lot of people that are joining in right now. And again, if you're on YouTube or on our streaming services, we appreciate you being along for this. We're going to nerd out a little bit and get deep into the data, talk about what to expect with the upcoming alert days and how it may impact you. And we'll dive into the data on how long that cold air may last. Stick around, more on that coming up in just a few moments, but we'll leave you with this quick weather fun fact. Well, we could talk snowflakes there, and the question is how many snowflakes or how much snow will we be seeing as we go into our alert days coming up late Friday and into Saturday. And we'll tell you, if you're a snow lover and looking forward to a lot of snow, this could be a storm that is disappointing for you, but still going to be impactful nonetheless. A very powerful storm system. Now, with the decrease in the snow that we're expecting, we're also increasing the amount of wind that we may see on this system. We're going to be calling for wind gusts late Friday night into Saturday through Saturday afternoon that may top 55 miles per hour, and that is at least worth a word of caution that could be doing some wind damage, perhaps some power outages that may be possible. And with the extreme cold that's going to be following, boy, we want you to be prepared for those high wind gusts, especially through Saturday morning and into the afternoon. Now, snow, we expect overall, we haven't given official accumulations yet. This is not going to be a system that is known for heavy snow yet again. And tell me if you've heard that once or twice before. For most, it may be minor accumulations. So let's talk winds very briefly. As those winds do crank up, I expect Friday afternoon and evening, it's going to be more of an easterly wind. And have you ever heard the saying, beware of an easterly wind, especially this time of the year? It is a sign of a powerful storm system that is developing. Friday evening, those winds will continue to crank up, turning southeasterly. And the issue with that is it's going to tug enough warm air into the system that it should transition over to some rain, which will overall limit our snow accumulations. But as this storm system intensifies, a very powerful, deep area of low pressure, it may be bringing wind gusts Friday night into Saturday to 55 miles per hour across much of northern Ohio and southern Michigan. This is a powerful area of low pressure. And while the shifts on this have taken it to the north and to the west of us, it also allows us to tap into the warmer but also windier weather that will persist. Now, eventually, colder air is going to plunge into the area Saturday morning through Saturday afternoon. And on the backside of this system, we're going to get whipped with high wind gusts through Saturday. Let's narrow in hour by hour on the local areas. Those winds begin to pick up, and I expect Friday right around noon, gusts out of the east 25 to 30 miles per hour. They're going to increase Friday after dark, may reach about 40 miles per hour, and they're going to continue to increase more, and by about midnight we may be approaching 45 to 50 miles per hour. So wind is going to be one of the main concerns initially with our alert days Friday night and into Saturday. Still going to be windy Saturday morning. At this point, may make that transition over to snow. So blowing snow, hazardous travel will be a possibility as we go early Saturday through noon Saturday. Look at these wind gusts, and we're going to be plunging back into the 20s, maybe gusting 45 to 50 miles per hour, and those high winds will last through Saturday afternoon. So our alert days, powerful storm is what we're going to be calling this one, late Friday into Saturday. Now, the issue is it may not be a prolific snowmaker. We're going to be very clear on that one. Rain and snow may mix together on Friday, arriving late in the afternoon into the evening. Could even turn to all rain at a point Friday night, changing back over to snow into Saturday, and that's when those winds really begin to pick up. They're going to increase, may top 55 miles per hour. Then extreme cold. You're going to hear more from the team on that as we go into next week. Be prepared for sub-zero wind chills. Now, with storm systems like this, we get really rapid changes in barometric pressure. Just the storm that impacted the area on Tuesday had one of those extreme examples where our barometric pressure in less than 24 hours, it plunged 43 millibars. That was an extreme pressure drop and then a rebound. And those rapid pressure changes have been known to create some sinus issues, some aches, some pains, and just some general discomfort. So if you felt it earlier in the week, you may feel it again this weekend with the colder air and that rapid change in barometric pressure. We're very confident that we're going to turn colder as that system then departs the area. So let me time it out for you. And there's still a lot of uncertainty with this. We may get initially some snow Friday afternoon, Friday evening. We're highly questionable on this because we expect rain will work in fairly quickly, changing that back over to rain. But minor snow accumulations may amount Friday afternoon, Friday evening. Better chance of that north and west of the Toledo metro. Eventually, we do expect we're going to change over to all rain. That could be Friday night and early Saturday, but we get whipped on the tail end of the system. There will be snow Saturday morning. It may not be a major accumulation, but blowing and drifting of that snow will be possible. So we're not really going to nail down on specific numbers, but what would be the chance of a couple inches of snow, enough to get the snow shovels or snow plows out? If you're here in the Toledo metro, it may be only around a 20% chance. North and west of Toledo, that chance increases significantly up into southern Michigan, where we're likely to at least see several inches of snow, specifically up toward Hillsdale and Lenawee counties. Our extended forecast, we're going to dive more into this in a few moments. We do see some extreme changes. That's why we highlight that with an alert day as we go into the weekend. And I expect next week turns bitterly cold. Check out those highs that are only going to be in the low to mid-teens and lows below zero. More coming up in just a few moments. Take a look at this weather fun fact.
Wow, just over a year on that, and we're talking 383 days, and that could change as we head throughout next week. So, of course, with this pattern flip coming, we got a bit of a combination between the wind chill and the winds that could cause at least some chilly conditions out there. So for us, we're going to explain and at least break down what exactly wind chill is. So, of course, our bodies release a bit of heat through convection, that is. So, of course, as we think about it, with no wind, well, that's when we don't necessarily see that heat release from our bodies. And it just basically just feels like 20 degrees out there for us if it is 20 degrees. And that helps us stay a little bit warm. But if you do add those factors of wind, well, it may feel a little bit colder out there. With that wind, well, that heat factor and that heat layer does, in fact, at least go away. And that's what makes it feel a bit colder outside. So, say, for example, we have 20-mile-per-hour wind gusts or 20-mile-per-hour winds. Well, that make it feel a bit colder outside. likely anywhere to 4 degrees if it is 20 degrees outside. So yeah, definitely with those winds could feel a lot cooler to your body at least. And that's exactly how we come up with wind chill and feel like temperatures. So of course, as we go throughout the next several days, we'll likely have some gusty winds ahead for us to time it out each and every day. Friday to Saturday, we'll likely see those wind gusts anywhere from 20 to 40 miles per hour into northwest Ohio, even into southeast Michigan. At least as we fast forward into Sunday, still going to be a breezy day outside as we could likely see into the lower 30s for wind gusts. And it is just going to be a cold one as we go throughout Sunday and into Monday. So still, by Monday, we could see wind gusts near 19 miles per hour. And that can surely feel a lot colder with those temperatures nearing the teens and those wind chills likely into the single digits. Of course, we do have meteorologist Kaylee Bowers joining us to at least break down those feel-like temperatures for us.
Yeah, Matt, thanks so much. Yeah, we were just talking about those gusty winds, but now we have to factor in those winds and our air temperature. So our feels like temperatures is what it actually feels like outside. So we might see temperatures in the 30s, but with those winds feeling much colder. So looking ahead towards these next few days, we're seeing those feels like temperatures dipping back down into the mid 20s. And that sticks around throughout Thursday and into much of Friday as well. But then some more of that colder air starts to move in because of those gusty winds, seeing feels like temperatures in the teens and the low 20s. Here's Saturday morning, you can see just downright cold. And that trend's going to stick around throughout not only the weekend, but throughout the next several days. And these are low temperatures, so how cold it'll get throughout those early morning hours and also those overnight hours. So you can see we go from those low 30s, right around that freezing point, back to the 20s. But then looking ahead towards the weekend, we go from 5 degrees to 1 degree. And again, these are actual air temperatures, not even our feels like temperatures. So feeling even colder than -1, and eventually still seeing those single digit temperatures and eventually starting to get back up to those double digits. But it's gonna be a cold few days and honestly a cold 10 days ahead. We're gonna highlight all this coming up more. But right now, let's check in on another weather fun fact.
You may recall that historic January of 2014 with 40 inches of snow over the course of the month. The big story right now is the swing in the temperatures. Coming off the warmest December on record, we are going to be in for a rude awakening with some much colder feeling conditions. To recap December, we were nearly 9 degrees above average with an average temperature of close to 42 degrees, and that made it the warmest December in over 150 years of weather data. Now, January so far has been milder than average. That is going to change very quickly. After this alert day storm system, we have been forecasting and talking about all week a sharp change in the weather pattern. That'll usher in way cooler than normal conditions next week that may even dip the mercury down below the 0-degree mark. During the course of December, our warmest thermometer reading was 65 degrees, and next week we are forecasting temperatures that could drop as low as -1. Now, we have had January temperature swings in past years. In fact, looking back on January of 2023, our warmest day in January was 61, and our coldest day only got down to 6. So there were no sub-zero readings, but the sharp contrast between those 60s and single digits sure is extreme. Now, as far as January extreme cold, it's been several years since we felt any of that. Looking back on January of 2022, there were 9 consecutive days where the temperature dipped down below 10 degrees and fell to the single digits, and we did drop below 0 that January. So you have to go 2 years back to have any meaningful long duration January cold. Here's a look at that cold stretch of weather from 2022. We had single digit temperatures from the 21st to the 25th, and then looking towards the latter half of January, we dropped as low as 5 below 0 before eventually getting to 14 degrees, returning to the double digits. You may remember last winter as well, right up before Christmas, that significant winter storm that brought us not a ton in the snowfall department, but the blowing and drifting and the sharp change in temperatures. We were 45 degrees degrees before that winter storm, and post-storm with that fresh blanket of snow, we dropped to 3 below with wind chills as low as 30 below zero. And of course, we explained wind chill. Meteorologist Matt Willoughby did a great job letting you know what wind chill means and why it occurs. So the last few months, we were much warmer than average with that historic December. Even though January is warmer than average right now, that is going to change quickly next week. November was essentially even zero with what you'd expect for the month of November. And October, despite that Halloween snowfall, was a little bit milder than average. Overall, the next several weeks heading towards the middle to even latter half of January is likely to feature frigid conditions with below normal temperatures. And for a more in-depth breakdown of these temperature swings and extremes that can occur this time of year, you'll want to subscribe to that Climate Friday newsletter. Even with the alert days coming up, we'll still send that straight to your inbox at noon on Friday. You can head to WTOL.com/email. We'll regroup after this break and leave you with a weather fun fact.
So that number may not change all that much with this upcoming storm. I think we're going to get something for the area. Big concern is if we broke down the wind chill that's going to be coming, the cold. And John, you mentioned it there too, the abrupt swings that we've seen. This is going to be no exception to this year.
Yeah, quite the temperature swing from that record December to a little bit of a taste of winter this month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not ready for it.
Not ready for it.
Not at all.
Not ready for it.
Not at all.
Yeah.
You were saying a little bit about the cold. You and the cold don't get along.
No, the cold always bothered me anyways.
Some things don't change,
No.
right? In the midst of some of this really extreme weather that's been going on, not only in our area, but across the country, we got some video to show you as well before we wrap things up. Take a look at this down toward the Houston County EMA director. Says several large trees and debris have fallen across the county, causing structural damage in several homes. We've had high winds. They ripped apart a mobile home. Golf ball size hail pounded Houston County. Not long before a tornado was confirmed to have touched down in the southern part of the county. Folks, this is January, and we're talking tornadoes down south.
Yeah, down south, that's not all too uncommon, where you still have that warm, moist air by the Gulf of Mexico and have that contrast between cold and warm. So there is sort of a secondary severe weather season that can occur in the winter.
You hate to see the damage and destruction.
Yeah. Man, yeah, so the next video also a bit of some tornado damage. Aerial footage taken from a helicopter shows a trail of destruction in the wake of what a Florida sheriff said was a series of tornadoes in Bay County on Tuesday. Videos show extensive damage and seen from the ground on Bay County and overhead as took an aerial tour of Panama City. The Weather Service was scheduled to send a team to survey the suspected tornado damage in Bay County on Wednesday.
Pretty incredible. Those aerial videos really show the extent of the damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really do. But you know what? We have some extreme weather, but also some exciting weather as well.
This is right up your alley.
This is right up my alley. An excited dog frolicked through the snow on January 9th as that strong storm system brought additional snowfall to northeastern Pennsylvania. And the National Weather Service in Binghamton said snow would mix with the rain in the afternoon. And here's video filmed by Michael Erat. It shows the thick layers of snow on the truck and the car, but also his dog, Emmy, like my pup Barkley, enjoys that wintry weather.
Oh, that is a positively cute video.
Ah, good one, John.
Yeah, the small dogs are so fun in the snow because it's almost up to his legs, but just enjoying having a good time. Well, we got one more video for you. We have commuters across the Hudson River from New York City. They were greeted Wednesday morning, this is January 10th, by the sight of a flooded railway terminal after a night of heavy rain. On social media, New Jersey Transit said it was not uncommon for river water to rise up during major rain events. We've seen this happen in the past with significant rainfall, and as the terminal was built on pilings above the Hudson River 100 plus years ago. However, train services were uninterrupted as of 8:30 a.m., they said. A state of emergency was in effect from 5 p.m. Tuesday. Officials urged drivers not to disobey street signs to drive through flooded roads. That's why we say turn around, don't drown.
No need to travel to Venice You can see it right there.
There you go.
Exactly.
All right, well, we appreciate you all joining us for this week's Weather Hangout, a special edition, and we really hope it's been a service to you, getting the majority of our weather team together to be talking about what's upcoming here. I think bottom line here, guys, yes, a return to some harsh wintry weather. We want people to be extra cautious of the extreme cold that's going to be out there next week, and also the high winds into the upcoming weekend. For meteorologist Kaylee Bowers, meteorologist Matt Willoughby, and meteorologist John Birchfield, I am Chief Meteorologist Chris Vickers. We thank you so much for joining us for this week's Weather Hangout. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, go ahead and do that. And we appreciate you joining us on our streaming platforms. Take care.